Day 2 of my Christmas prep, I like to start my day with getting all of my baking out of the way. So the first thing I bake is my laminated sourdough. I like to bake this covered for the first 20 minutes to let that steam help with the initial rise, and then this will continue to bake for another 30 minutes uncovered. Now I'm working on the apple pie, and as you can see, the apples released a ton of liquid overnight. So I reduce that liquid, then thicken it, and finish it with vanilla bean paste. Now this gets folded back into the apples, and then I like to finish the filling with some brown butter. Then I roll out the bottom crust that I made yesterday and gently press it into my pie plate. Then the apple pie filling goes in, and I like to make sure it's really pressed down in there. The top crust goes over, and then I seal and crimp the edges. And then I like to let my pie rest in the fridge for about an hour before baking. When I'm ready to bake, I brush it with some egg wash and sprinkle with turbinado sugar. I like to cook my apple pies for a long time, so I start at a high heat around 425 just to get things going, and then I drop the temp to 375, and my pie took just about 2 hours total. Then I moved on to frying my cannoli shells. I used my pasta machine to roll it out to the exact thickness that I wanted. Then using a ring cutter, I punched out rounds, then wrapped them around my steel tubes and got them frying. And once the cannoli shells are just set, I remove the steel tube and let them continue frying for another 30 seconds or so. And tomorrow, I'll fill them with my ricotta mixture right before serving. Next, I made my seafood stock. This will be the base of my chowder. So I have some shrimp and crab shells, and I'll let that cook down for a few minutes, and then my celery, carrots, leeks, and shallots go in. Then the tomato paste goes in, and I'll cook that out for a few minutes. I cover this with water, and then my herbs go in, and I'll let this cook for about an hour. Once it's done, I give it a strain and let it cool, and tomorrow the chowder comes together. Next, I seared off my seasoned lamb shanks until they had some good color. Once they're done searing, I cook down shallots, onions, and garlic for a few minutes. Next, my whole spices go in, and I'll let those toast just until they're fragrant. My tomato paste cooks out until lightly caramelized, and then I deglaze everything with some beer. And then my chilies go in along with tomatoes and my chicken stock. The lamb shanks return to the pan with some bay leaves, and then this will come to a simmer, and then I'll braise it in the oven for a few hours. The braised lamb shanks will be the filling for my tamales. This is definitely the dish I'm most excited about right now. And to wrap the day up, I made the base for my sangria. So I'm using some citrus, apples, pears, and persimmons. So I have my red wine, some cognac, and then this syrup that I made that's infused with cinnamon, cloves, and ginger. Next, all of my fruit goes in, and I'll give that a quick mix, and then this will chill in the fridge overnight. I think the best sangria is always made a day before. And that's my second day of prep, and tomorrow my Christmas Eve dinner comes together.